away, as in dead on arrival. Joining us to talk about that and more, Jason Johnson, who's the chief political correspondent for Politic 365 and political science professor at Hiram College, and Republican strategist Liz Mair. Thanks to both of you for being here.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about Paul Ryan's proposed budget. It probably will pass the House because the House is, of course, controlled by Republicans. But after that, it's likely to go nowhere. So, Liz, what's he trying to accomplish, especially since his budget is predicated on Obamacare going away?
Well, I think ultimately he believes that he has to put a budget forward. I think that he thinks that's his job, first and foremost. And I think second to that, Paul Ryan likes to be a leader in terms of ideas. And so putting proposals forward is very important for him, even if they are proposals that will ultimately not move anywhere else or if the Senate will ignore them, because that is sort of his way of setting benchmark for where he thinks that the country should be going philosophically.
Well, and I'm not saying, Jason, that Senate Democrats are going to release a plan that's any more bipartisan, because they're not. According to Dana Bash, it's got a lot of tax increases in there, and even $1 is too much for Republicans. So what are we to take from this?
You know, the Republicans have been screaming and yelling that Obama is playing politics by closing the White House tours. This is Paul Ryan playing politics. What have we just done for the last 2 years? We have talked about the Ryan budget, and the Republicans lost the election. People don't like his budget. They don't like his cuts. They don't like his plans. So while he's doing his job, which is sincere, it's not going to go anywhere because the American people don't like what he's suggesting. And that's what I think is sometimes being missed when he's making these kinds of presentations.
So this President Obama is going to do, I guess you could call it shuttle diplomacy. He's going to spend 3 days on Capitol Hill talking to Senate and House leaders from both parties. And he's trying to, I guess he's going to try to get the two sides closer together with their budget proposals. Will he succeed?
I don't really think so. I think Barack Obama's going to try. It's like bringing the Jets and the Sharks together. They'll dance, they'll spin around in circles, but they're not really going to get anything done. I think we're really going to see the end of these sequester battles sometime around late this week, early next week, because that's when people's paychecks are starting to get affected. That's when the 8, 10, 12% cuts in people's pay are going to show up. Republicans are going to get calls from their district. Democrats are going to get calls. That's when we're going to get things fixed. I don't think any of this is any more than dancing right now.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about those White House tours, because as you both know, they've been suspended in the wake of those forced spending cuts. The Obama administration says it's the least painful way to enforce the plan.
The Secret Service presented options that ranged from canceling tours to potential furloughs and cuts in overtime. And the White House made the decision that we would unfortunately have to temporarily suspend these tours.
But some Republicans say this is just an effort to make voters even more angry at Republicans. So Liz, what's behind the suspension of these White House tours? Is it pure politics, or is the White House just trying to save money where it can?
It's probably a bit of both, but in practice, I think this is really being overblown by Republicans. I mean, anybody who's lived in Washington, D.C. or has traveled here repeatedly over the last 10 or so years knows that getting a White House tour in the wake of 9/11 has been pretty tricky for your average American anyway. So I don't really think that this is something that is going to have a dramatic effect on people in any way, shape or form. It's an interesting thing to argue back and forth about. Certainly it's dominated a lot of chatter on Twitter. I don't think that it's anything that's really of substantial concern. Certainly it is not to me as a Republican. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jason, this is something people can actually feel. I mean, you mentioned you're going to start feeling it in your paycheck soon. I mean, this is something that voters will feel, and perhaps that will make them apply more pressure to lawmakers to come together on these budget proposals.
Yeah, this is like dad cutting the kid's ice cream budget so they'll pressure mom to give her Lexus back. I mean, that's what's going on. Barack Obama's like, I'm going to take this thing away from kids in America and parents so that they can go and blame the Republican Party. And the issue is, I don't know if the Republicans are going to want to give back that Lexus. The larger problem here is the inability to recognize not just these symbolic issues, but the actual day-to-day impact of families, of single moms out there who are losing $200, $300 a paycheck, or that's what's going to happen eventually. And so, you know, do I think it's good politics? No. Do I think Obama's playing politics? Yeah. But then again, the Republicans are playing politics too with people's lives and their well-being.
All right, thanks to both of you. I want to get in our viewer comments on this question. So is cutting the White House tours prudent or pure politics? This is from Robbie. Oh, wow. How we have to suffer by not touring the White House. What a spoiled people we've become. Get over it. This is from Rob. Pure politics.